All this time you've been told to just be nice, smile more, nod more, compliment more. And if you do that, people will like you. They lied. You've been wasting energy trying to be pleasant when what actually pulls people in is the exact opposite of what you were taught. The more you try to impress, the more invisible you become. The more you chase approval, the less anyone wants to give it to you. But there's a reason why you fell for it. I did too. I grew up thinking I was broken, socially, inept. I'd watch people in school walk into a room and everyone would just like them, want to talk to them, sit near them, laugh at their jokes before they even told the punchline. And I'd sit there, quiet, hoping someone would notice me. Then one day I discovered social skills. I devoured the books, memorized lines, practiced eye contact in the mirror, rehearsed how to nod, how to smile, how to repeat someone's name so they'd feel seen. It was robotic, but I believed it would work. It didn't. And I remember this night clearly, sitting alone at a party, watching everyone else move in a rhythm I couldn't follow. That moment wrecked me, because I realized something terrifying. I was doing everything right, and still, nobody cared. That's when it hit me. Charisma isn't technique. It's not saying the right words. It's not playing some psychological chess game. Charisma is a feeling people get when they're around you, not what you say, what you emit. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to create that feeling. Not through faking, not through smiling, but by shifting who you are at the core of every conversation you'll ever have again. So let's start with presence. When someone speaks to you, there are two things happening. There's the words being said, and there's the invisible scan you're doing to figure out what you'll say back. That scan, it kills connection. Most guys don't listen. They wait. They wait for the moment they can jump in and look smart. They wait for a keyword so they can spin the conversation in their direction. They wait for silence, not to understand, but to fill it with something about themselves. You've done this. I've done this. But the truth is brutal. Every second you're thinking about what you're going to say, you're losing the person in front of you. Want to know what real presence feels like? Imagine this. You're sitting across from someone who stares into your eyes like you're the only person left on earth. No fidgeting, no distractions, no polite nods while their mind runs somewhere else. They hear every word, and not just the words, but the emotions beneath them. That's presence. You feel it when someone gives you their entire attention. It's rare, it's intense, it's magnetic. And when you give that kind of attention, without performing, without trying, people get hooked. They can't help it. You make them feel seen, and the human brain is addicted to being seen. But there's another layer. Presence isn't just attention, it's comfort. How you sit speaks louder than how you talk. If you're stiff, clenched, faking confidence with an uptight smile, people feel it. Even if your words are perfect, something about you makes them tense. But when you're relaxed, actually relaxed, when your arms hang loose, your legs take up space, your face is soft, and your movements are unfiltered, something crazy happens. They relax too. Your body tells them, you're safe around me. Not with words, with energy. Ever notice how people behave differently around their best friend versus their boss? It's not the words exchanged. It's the comfort level. It's the permission to drop the act. Be that person. Not by trying, but by choosing to be unapologetically at ease. That means you stop asking yourself, do they like me? Am I saying the right thing? Am I being charismatic enough? Instead, you ask one question. Am I being real right now? If the answer is yes, people will feel it. They'll stop scanning the room. They'll stop guarding their words, and they'll start leaning into you, literally and emotionally. Because here's the paradox. The less you try to be charismatic, the more charismatic you become. And when you combine presence with warmth, that's when the magic really starts. Warmth isn't weakness. It's not being a people pleaser or some smiling golden retriever that agrees with everything just to avoid tension. Real warmth is power restrained. It's choosing connection over performance. And you don't fake that because people feel your intentions. When you talk to someone and deep down you think, I hope they like me. I hope I sound smart. I hope this goes well. They know. Not consciously, but in that primal, ancient part of the brain that's been decoding sincerity for thousands of years. They hear your words, but they feel your fear, and fear repels. So how do you actually radiate warmth? You decide, before you open your mouth, that the person in front of you is worth your full respect. Not because they earned it, not because they're impressive, but because you choose to see them as valuable. That internal frame changes everything. You're not trying to win them. You're giving to them. Not gifts, not compliments, but your energy, your attention, your unfiltered, judgment-free presence. When someone tells you they love football and you hate it, you don't fake agreement. You don't roll your eyes either. You just say, I've never really been into it, but I get why. People are. What do you like most about it? That's real. That's honest. And it's open. Because people don't connect over opinions. They connect over sincerity. Warmth is telling the truth without apology. It's being kind without needing credit. It's holding eye contact not because you read about it, but because you actually want to be there. The most magnetic people in the world have this strange calm about them. They don't rush to speak. They don't fill silence. They don't perform. Instead, they radiate this low-frequency message. You don't have to impress me. You're already enough. And guess what happens? Everyone wants to be around them. Why? Because being in their presence feels like a break from the constant pressure to perform. It feels like home. Warmth is also the courage to give without keeping score. You know something that could help someone? You share it. Not to earn praise, not to be the helpful guy, but because you genuinely want to contribute. Your friends, looking for an apartment? You drop a site, you know. You don't follow up 3 days later asking if they used it. You give, and then you let go. That kind of generosity is rare, and rare is magnetic. But here's where most guys get it wrong. They confuse warmth with agreeableness. They think that if they just smile enough, nod enough, praise enough, people will like them. It doesn't work. Because at some point, people realize you're not real. You're not grounded. You're just mirroring them, hoping to stay in their good graces. And nothing kills attraction, whether social, romantic, or professional, faster than inauthenticity. So you tell the truth. When you like something, say so. When you don't, say that too. With kindness, with presence. Your friend wears a shirt that doesn't look good on him. You say, honestly, man, that one's not your best. Not to shame, but because real friendship means honesty. And when you praise something, you mean it. You don't give empty compliments. You say, that jacket, yeah, that works. With weight, with truth. That's the kind of validation that lands. Because it's not mass-produced, it's tailored, it's earned. Here's the real kicker. Warmth without power is just softness. And people don't follow softness. You want to be liked? Sure. But if that's your goal, you've already lost. You'll bend, you'll shrink, you'll water yourself down, and eventually, they'll forget you ever existed. But when you lead with presence, real, relaxed presence, when you combine it with warmth that's rooted in honesty, not performance, you start to glow differently. And now we move into the final and most misunderstood ingredient of charisma: power. Not domination, not aggression, but unshakable inner strength. Power doesn't yell. It doesn't flash. It doesn't show up with a Rolex and a loud opinion. Real power is quiet. It's the man who doesn't flinch when others raise their voices, the one who doesn't need to prove he's right, the one who can walk into a room and own it without saying a word. You want people to like you? Earn their respect first. Respect is the foundation. Like is the bonus. You see, when people respect you, their attention shifts. Their tone softens. Their need to dominate disappears. Because they feel your energy and it tells them, this guy doesn't need me to like him. He's already good. That's power. It starts with this. You don't explain yourself. You don't justify. You don't apologize for being you. Let me say that again, because the world wants you to forget it. You don't apologize for being you. You don't drink? Then don't drink. Not because it's wrong. Not because you need to convert anyone. Just because it's your decision. And that's enough. The moment you start defending your boundaries, you've already lost half the battle. The strongest man in the room isn't the one talking. It's the one who knows he doesn't have to. Here's the brutal truth. Most guys fold the second their environment disagrees with them. They want to fit in. They want to be liked, so they dilute themselves. They laugh at jokes they hate. They nod at ideas they don't believe. They go along just to avoid standing out. And that's exactly why no one remembers them. Charisma doesn't come from being agreeable. It comes from being anchored. People want someone who knows where he stands, who doesn't need validation to speak, who has his own gravity. So how do you build that? Start with this. You stop chasing reactions. You don't post for likes. You don't speak to impress. You don't walk into a conversation wondering, what can I say to sound smart? Instead, you ask, what do I actually believe? What do I truly think right now? And then you say that, calmly, clearly. It won't always be popular, but that's the point. People can't trust you if you don't stand for anything. They can't respect you if your opinions shift with the wind. And trust me, being liked without being respected is hell. It means people enjoy your company, but no one listens to you. You're everyone's entertainment, no one's influence. Now let's talk about confrontation. If someone disrespects you even subtly, you meet it. Not with rage, not with ego, but with calm certainty. Someone crosses a line, you look them dead in the eyes and say, "Don't talk to me like that." That's it. No need for drama, no need for threats. Because when it comes from a man who doesn't bluff, that's all it takes. But if you let it slide, if you laugh it off, if you bury it down and convince yourself it doesn't matter, you lose something. Not just their respect, your own. Every time you betray your standards, you become less magnetic. Because the first person who stops trusting you is you. Now body language. Look, posture tricks mean nothing if your mind is weak. You can stand like Superman, but if you're apologizing with your energy, people see through it. True body language flows from belief. You know what confidence looks like? It looks like comfort. The man who's not rushing, not fidgeting, not performing. He's just there. His body takes up space without asking permission. He speaks slowly. He moves deliberately. Why? Because he knows the world will wait for him. And if it doesn't, he's not chasing it anyway. That's what you aim for. Not cockiness, not arrogance, but this unshakable I belong here energy. Because once you believe you belong, everyone else will believe it too. Now imagine this. You combine all three: presence, power, warmth, and you listen like the world has gone silent just for this conversation. You speak like every word has weight. You offer kindness with no strings attached, and you hold your ground like a man whose value is not up for debate. That's the formula. That's charisma. That's how people become addicted to you. And here's the final untold truth that no book or video will admit. You don't get people to like you by trying to be liked. You get people to like you by not needing them to. That's the paradox. That's the brutal, liberating, terrifying truth. Because neediness is a stench, and everyone smells it. Every time you seek approval, whether in a joke, a compliment, a glance, you tell the world you're starving for validation. And no one is attracted to a man who's starving. They're drawn to the one who feeds himself. That doesn't mean you act cold. It doesn't mean you pretend you don't care. It means your sense of self is already full. You don't enter conversations hoping to get something. You walk in knowing you have something to give. Presence, warmth, power. That's the triangle. That's the current people feel when they get around someone who has it. You ever been around someone who barely says anything, but somehow you can't stop thinking about them? That's the effect. Because you're not just a person anymore. You're an experience. You're a moment of peace in a world addicted to noise. You're a mirror that shows people who they are, because you're not afraid to be who you are. And most importantly, you're free. Free from needing to impress, free from seeking permission, free from the lie that being liked means being less of yourself. So the next time you walk into a room, you don't shift your energy to match the people there. You bring your own atmosphere. You set the tone. And if someone doesn't vibe with it, good. Let them go. You're not for everyone. And that's your power. The man who tries to please everyone becomes invisible. But the man who is unapologetically aligned with who he is, he becomes unforgettable. So forget the tricks. Forget the lines. Forget the fake smiles and forced confidence. Get present. Get real. Get grounded. Because the world doesn't need another guy trying to be liked. It needs men who are so alive, so clear, so rooted in themselves that people can't help but follow. And maybe, just maybe, that starts with you. Right here. Right now. Not because you said the right thing, but because you finally stopped needing to.